with Dr. Cherry. I'm Walter C. Brooks. We are the administrators of the secondary schools in Burke County. I'm at the high school and Dr. Cherry is at the alternative school, and we work in collaboration with each other in an effort to move the needle forward in the academic realm of education. We're going to talk to you a little bit about our school improvement plan and how it's carved out and how we're working our plan as a team. After all, collaborative teaming is our vision here at Burke County High School and at Life Center. At this time, I'll let Dr. Cherry give you the breakdown of the various goals and who are responsible, and I'll give you a little bit more information as it relates to the data and how we're utilizing it as we push our 30-day plan forward.
As we move forward with our 30-day collaborative plan, our work will be guided by 4 key goals. Each goal has a designated lead to ensure accountability, collaboration, and measurable progress across both buildings. First, we have Goal 1, Student Achievement, led by Ms. Avery. Our focus is on improving academic outcomes with an emphasis on literacy, progress monitoring, and accountability systems that ensure students know where they are and what they need to succeed. Goal 2, Student, Family, and Staff Supports, led by Dr. Hankerson. We are committed to creating a supportive environment by strengthening relationships, as well as addressing student and staff needs and ensuring families feel engaged as partners in the process. Goal 3, Stakeholder Engagement, led by Mr. Boyd. We will build bridges with all stakeholders, including families, community partners, and district leadership, to promote transparency, trust, and shared ownership of our success. And finally, Goal 4 is Organizational Effectiveness, led by Mr. Fulcher, also known as Coach Fulcher. We will ensure both buildings operate with efficiency and alignment, maximizing resources, streamlining processes, and fostering a culture of accountability at every level.
Hi, ladies. How y'all doing this morning?
Good. How are you,
Okay.
Avery?
I'm percolating, so we're going to go through our little presentation. Our goal that we're focusing on is student achievement. We're going to discuss our walking data, our STAR data, and our cumulative data. STAR data reading, strategic priority 8, improved literacy rates. Okay, so we had 1,039 learners assessed, 12th grade, had the highest performance, 57.3, and then our lowest was the 9th grade. That's our key focus area.
We usually go up through the grades. It was really neat because we were able to get so many tested. That's the most kids we've ever been able to test.
So 95% of them, with the exception of that 12th grade group, and we just got to figure out a way to reach those dual enrollment students.
And then we also discussed about something about Dr. Seabrook's giving some incentives to get them to take the test. But and I feel like we have a better start this year from looking at the data from last year. So I'm excited to see how this school year will be.
Lots of positive feedback on the STAR test itself. Teachers liked it, students liked it.
And it's user friendly.
Yeah.
I like it. And it was easy to go pull the reports. That's what I'm saying. When we had met, it was like looking for a needle in a haystack. So as you see, we're going to do a 3% gain for each test. So our next target in our end of year target. And what I was thinking about doing too is maybe get some posters made, and I think we should put our data out not only in our 600 room, but in the front when the people enter, set it up, make it look real nice and polished, and have it in front so they can see their data when they walk in as well, and maybe create a one-pager for the parents. And I know I talked to Ms. Henderson, we're probably going to add this data to our newsletter that goes out to the parents to keep them informed.
That's what I was thinking as well. The more that you can get it out there. And even in the curriculum nights as well.
Yeah.
Including that.
So some of the target feedback strategies, we were thinking about 15-minute power-up sessions, use STAR data to identify the lowest performance skill areas, explicit and direct, build learning target for each session, incorporate multimedia and interactive read alouds, target specific skills, main idea, inference, and vocabulary. Long-term strategy, I know Jigsaw is one of the, is that the highest?
Yeah.
So I was thinking that we would start working on that, and then also, we'll get with the 10th grade teachers and create a strategy book, because if they're performing so well, what are they doing? And it could be from a unit. I mean, I know that's a quick turnaround, but you know, kids are sponges, so that may be the way you're rolling out the unit that's helping them with their performance, and easy reference for long-term implementation. So we'll discuss that in our, what is it, 90-day,
Yeah.
60-day presentation. Where are we seeing the most success in our upper grades are showing the strongest performance? Reading, 57.3 for our 12th graders, and math performance in 10th grade, 52% and 56% in the grades. Why do you think, do you think the support classes is helping our 10th graders? Why we had such a jump, what do you think?
Doing math, I do, because you had, for that, you would have had, throughout the year, you would have had all of those sections, those 6 different, sections, of children. So that would increase that.
What strengths can we build on to accelerate progress? High performing 12th grade learners as a model, 12th grade teachers lead professional development, peer teaching model, distinguished learners mentor, struggling learners build academic and social emotional connections. So I think that goes back to our cohort with that social emotional connection. I think that will help. And then one thing that Mr. Higgs is doing, we have when I do enrollment student that's going to be peer tutoring in his 3rd block. So what I was going to do is create a peer tutoring application and see if we can get more kids that can actually cut the mustard and be supported, even just if it's a social emotional, they may be strong in that to support the kids, and I think that will bring more belonging and community into the school.
Henry, I think there's something though that we haven't talked about, and that's maturity. You know, as the kids go through the grades, I
Yes.
think they're getting more and more mature with their thinking, but more than that, I think they're getting ready to be out, and they're seeing the relevance in the work that they're doing. And I have to wonder if we can take that relevance down into the earlier grades, really making everything, I don't want to say real world, but at least making those connections for kids, how they're going to use this when they graduate. I know it gets real. You know, a lot of the 12th grade curriculum is getting them ready for whatever they decide to do when they graduate. But I'm wondering if that would be something that we could build on in earlier grades.
Yes, and I maybe have them also give a little testimony on their watching, also invite them to come and do some talk, speak to the students doing cohort, because what we noticed last year, a lot of seniors were upset because they weren't undergraduates, but they had played in their 9th grade year, and then when they started getting serious, it was so, they had done so much damage, it was hard for them to catch up. So I agree with you on that. So
I would think something too would be our use of cohort time. To be able to have your hands on those children and be able to conference with those children, because that's where they tested their cohort. So being able to have those conversations.
right,
And that's one more person, you know, in the building.
the advocates for them.
Right.
So one thing that was interesting, I was there's some of the kids that started putting in responses in for the listening and learning tour, and the 2 people names that kept coming up was Mr. Higgs and Miss Smith, the custodian. They said they feel comfortable and they advocate for them. So I was like, that was very interesting.
Yes.
So we'll see once they put the rest of them in, we'll see what they end up looking like. So that was exciting to see. How have learners and teachers shown resilience? So I feel like this year we start off very strong and cohesive, strong benchmark scores at the start of the year. Nearly half the learners met benchmarks. Over 1/3 projected to meet state proficiency. Teacher adaptability with new assessment tools. I just feel like the teachers are really taking a risk. They're really digging their heels in I feel like they're more excited, but they're really laser focused this year. I just see a difference in them this year. So we just got to keep them motivated and encouraged. And I'm gonna go around and put out some shout out notes on their doors, because even I'm getting some positive feedback from even some of the co-teaching groups. So that's exciting.
And celebrating those small wins
Yes.
will go a long
Yeah.
way.
Which early wins can we replicate? 10th and 11th grade math, and 11th and 12th grade reading grades, instructional approaches, reading project-based and input-based learning, jigsaw method, math, real-world application from successful upper grades. And like I said, when I was going into math class, I saw a lot of real-world application. And Mr. Higgs was doing a dream board. So the kids were doing a dream board about the unit they're getting ready to get started on. And that was very interesting. And they had to apply it to real world of their interest. That was interesting. I wish you would have videotaped
And
that.
I was just in a math classroom where they used the spark for learning,
Mhm.
and they were having to relate what it was talking about to the slope of a linear function.
Mhm.
So it was looking at like the incline of a ramp,
Mhm.
and also like the weight of all
Mhm.
different objects
Mhm.
on the machine, and being able to go up that ramp. So I'm seeing
Yes. Okay, focus on ninth grade is the lowest performing group, and they are struggling with being social emotionally connected to the school. What Ms. Doyle and I noticed. So one thing we get ready to start doing is having a parent and student workshop for lunch and learn once a month. And we're gonna do one for everybody in the afternoon if they can't do it during the day. And we're gonna do it by alphabet. So we get ready to start working on strategies to be successful in the Verity and for our freshmen. So try to get them prepared and be more preventive. So we get ready to work on that. Reading daily 15-minute power-up sessions during each class period, focusing on vocabulary, math, metacognitive math strategy in all ninth grade classrooms. I saw Mr. Higgs and Ms. Mason doing this the other day too. Teach learners to think about their thinking when problem-solving, research-based vocabulary strategies during each class period.
And one of the things that we did when we taught, success criteria to our teachers, the entry point for every lesson is starting with academic vocabulary.
Mm-hmm.
I can define, I can identify, I can give examples of. So we really are working on that academic vocabulary in
Right.
every class, in every grade, through our success criteria.
Because
Very
that's,
intentional with that.
yeah, and
Yes.
that was one of their action steps, doing a vocabulary booklet or something when we had the data.
Yeah.
All right, improved math. Going along. The same amount of students were assessed. This is what I pulled from the
Look at that 10th grade group in
Uh-huh.
math.
yes. They are rocking and rolling. And
And
the
I
power of
think that-
mentorship and metacognition.
And I think that goes back to, you have some students who had the extra support in that foundations class, and now they're
Mhm.
in that group.
Yes, because it's all about foundations. Because I was telling a kid, I said, if you miss a little piece of that math, it's hard to catch up because everything connects.
And that's a big testament to our algebra teachers from last year, because those kids are our current 10th graders, so they worked very hard to grow those kids last year.
And so here's where we're gonna be for mid-year and the end of the year target, which I think we're gonna be able to meet our goal. One thing that I do want to see during cohort, the teachers go over the STAR data with the kids and have them set a goal to make sure they meet their mid-year and end of year target. Okay, so mentoring program, we already discussed that. That's something we're gonna work on. Getting some of our kids that's in dual room and come and peer tutor and mentor our students, because what we notice is they like to learn from their peers they'll learn from their peers before they learn from their teacher. And then metacognitive math, creative visual school-wide resource, thinking about my thinking, posted with 4 steps. And Mr. Higgs has this in a Freya model. So this is one of the things he'll be using when they model for our instructional
So
academy.
professional learning kind of drives everything that we do in the building. So we are all about building capacity with our teachers.
Alright.
You want to talk about baseline data?
Okay, so when we, went around, for this particular time period, we had our new teachers that we brought along with us, along with admin, and, Renee and I, and we had some, a few other faculty. And so we were looking at refining our tool that we had, just making sure that everything was good to go, and, we also use this as teaching time with, Heath. So the questions, what are you learning? How you know, when you've learned it, where are you in your learning based on the success criteria? What do you need to learn next to master the success criteria? What makes a good learner? And describe how you're using one of the ground dispositions. So starting out, of course, for post-it, 80%, post-it, what are you learning? If you look at, yes and partial, you're at 100%, so we were real strong there. How will you know you've learned it? So looking there, 10% like yes, 70% partial. Where are you in your learning based on the success criteria? What do you need to learn next to master the success criteria? So that's speaking in terms of the assessment capable learners and being able to self-assess as where you're at. And so we know, actually that's kind of slightly up from last time around because we ended up with around 36% at the end of the year. So that number is up. So that is something that we're continuously like looking forward to improve because we know like on that engagement continuum that we want the students to drive their own learning. So that's all the way to the right. And our students, as far as using ground dispositions, like they can tell you what makes a good learner. We're saying describe how we're using one of the ground dispositions. And I know so Avery and I were in some classrooms yesterday, and we were asking them how they were able to use it, and they
Yeah, and so we
doing a
kind of
decent job.
changed the question. I was like, okay, based on what your teachers teaching you today, and everything that you're doing, what ground disposition supports your learning? And a lot of them say resourceful because they're helping us, giving us resources we need to prepare for the test. And then we ask them to predict what they'll make, and then if they didn't make what they need to make, what would they do? So they
It
were
all works
very,
together,
Yes,
yeah.
yes, it was very
Yes,
interesting,
yes,
and they were very good
Yes.
observations.
Yes.
Mhm.
So that's where, we were starting, but again, we had a small sample size because those were used as like
Mhm.
teachable times, like especially in
Their
between
new
like,
faculty.
yeah,
Mhm.
each of the visits.
So we know we've got a solid foundation in teacher clarity. We've got the targets. Everyone is aware of the targets, what the purpose of the target is, how we use the targets. They're doing really well with that. The students, 90% can verbally articulate what they're learning. So this is just that foundation for the rest of it.
Mhm.
Success criteria on the next slide. I think that's the next one. But success criteria, we were slow on the
Mhm.
success criteria. That teachers and students found that to be a little bit more difficult.
Mhm.
But they're getting much better with that. And I think now the students are starting to see the success criteria as the progression for learning in a lesson. So trying to get them to self-assess, trying to get them to really internalize those success criteria, that's what we're working on.
Mhm.
So we're just gonna keep, working away at that.
So as far as how learners and teachers shown resilience during the school year, we've had a very strong professional foundation that started the year. So with Heath coming in and actually having the different groups of the teachers to be able to come up with a plan of attack together as a team and
they
follow
are very
that.
competitive.
They
Let me tell you,
are.
they have talking junk. I was with McBride and he explaining. They was talking junk about each other, about their group.
So becoming like, so actually, doing action research within like a pot, and seeing if it works. So that is really cool. And taken ownership of that. And so taking what you've learned and being able to apply and see if it works. So with the teamwork, like that, it's making we know that it will make a difference. I can't wait to see like how they progress along. So we knew this is no surprise. Only about 10% of the learners can articulate how to use that success criteria for self-assessment. That goes along with our evidence into action plan for this year. This is what we're working on. We're going to attack it a little differently this year. We've gone and we've trained them. We've done all this stuff. So now we're going to pull in the data and share the data with the kids so that the kids understand the data that we're pulling. So the teachers are playing around with communicating the success criteria to the students, but they're also on the faculty challenge. They created a goal for 30 days that they're going to use exit tickets, or they're going to have kids self-assess once a week or twice a week or every day in every classroom. So a lot of teachers are beginning to put it in student-friendly terms with like checklists. And so, you know, when we've gone into classrooms, whether like we've gone in or whether we've gone through the Elliott walkthrough, we saw evidence of some of those practices that were put into place. So the practices, I mean, I wouldn't say they're pervasive, but they're
Growing.
getting, yeah,
It's
they're
growing. It's
They're
growing. So one thing that we're doing too, based on we have tied the Edmonton, we tied TEACS to physical learning, and we get ready to tier our teachers, and then we're gonna come meet with you all. But y'all know who's tier 4 is off, and we teachers 3. We are emerging. 2, they're proficient, and 1, they're distinguished. So that's how we're gonna have it, and then we'll share it with you all in this
We've got
Facebook
some
and this-
new teachers
Yes.
that are proficient.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Who are already leaps and bounds
Yes.
above people who've been here.
Yes,
So,
yes. I mean, I've been seeing a
teachers.
lot of, I'm very happy about the teachers we've selected this year.
And so as far to as the youth teachers as well, just having that day with Heath, just to do those observations like during their plannings, I feel like they were able to talk with him and they're able to get a better understanding
Right.
just going into peers classrooms. And so many, like most of them found like, well, all of them found value in being able to go into those classrooms to learn.
And I think they also feel comfortable. This year, I think people are more approachable and they are seeking help and getting feedback. I think they're much more collaborative this year.
Yes.
So with our cumulative data, you know, which we track. So data around here is really important to us, and so we're constantly tracking and looking at trends. So this year, you know, in previous years we've tracked EOC classes, how the kids are doing with performance in EOC classes, and this year the teachers asked that we bring in some of the feeder classes that support those EOC classes. So what we've got to share right now is our very first cumulative round. So we'll start with ELA, brand new standards, brand new units, brand new everything. So what you've got on the screen up there is we took that population of students on their last standardized test, and that's how it played out. So on the EOG, whether they took an EOG or an EOC, only 57% of the students passed that state test. And you can see the breakdown in the different groups. The bottom number is that particular group of students scored in at 65% pass rate, so we're seeing some increase in passing rate. But as we look at the groups, we didn't have any distinguished learners.
Do we have any honors class that?
No,
No honors? Okay.
no honors in ninth grade. So we moved the proficient number up to 15%. And we're moving them. So look, we're moving them out of beginning into developing or proficient.
They're
So
growing.
what the teachers are doing is they're sharing a goal, a growth goal, a 3% and a 6% growth goal with each child, and encouraging them to move a number, you know, to move a category. So this is just preliminary data, and this does not include our support classes.
So our support classes are coming up, it'll be next week when they
Mhm.
take the first cumulative, it's the same assessment,
Mhm.
and we'll see how they're trending as well.
Mhm.
Now, their pass rate on the previous one is much lower, because
Right.
these students are coming in as struggling learners. So we'll see how that works. The same thing, now remember, LitCom 1 was the feeder course, that's ninth
Mhm.
grade.
Mhm.
This is the new EOC class, 10th
Mhm.
grade. The state has changed it from 11th to 10th.
Mhm.
And really excited about this. Now we do have an honors level class in this population. So 58% pass rate on the previous
Mhm.
state assessment. On this assessment, 73%, but we were really excited to see the distinguished number
Yes.
climb from 6% to 14%. They're growing our proficient learners. And we took out almost half of the beginning population. So the trends are looking really good.
Mhm.
And when the teachers looked at this data, they were really excited because they were questioning the new units. They were
Mhm.
questioning some of the stuff that they were doing, but it's making a difference. And, we talked about relevance in with those seniors a little bit
Mhm.
earlier. We really took relevance and connections down into the previous grade. So I hope that this is an upward trend that will continue. Let's see, our EOC class in social studies is U.S. history. So social studies opted to test the two feeder courses, government and world history. We had some glitches in world history.
Mhm.
We had some glitches with Illuminate, our testing platform, in government and world history. So the numbers are what they are. We're not entirely sure how accurate this is, but there's still growth. There's still some growth. We do have 2 honors level classes in world history. So I don't know how accurate this data is. I'm gonna be honest with you. But we meet Friday to really hash out this data, to look at the test, to look at the skills. This test was a skills-based test. So students were asked to read charts, graphs, diagrams, maps, and draw conclusions. So, and this covered this particular assessment covered, I think, 9 standards, which is very heavy, but it's a lot of the ancient civilizations that we'll build on future.
Do they have a DBQ on this?
There are DBQs available, but there was not a DBQ prior to this assessment.
That's something you're gonna add in next
Yeah.
time?
Yeah, government, I have not finished individually looking up the scores. We have to individually do that. So that top thing, I don't know how they came in. I will have it by the time we have our data discussion. This was a total glitch. I questioned the 91% pass rate on this test. I'm gonna investigate this one.
And then also, you said you gonna put safety nets in
Yeah,
place.
we got some safety nets in place for that. U.S. history, I do trust this data. The teachers, we have chatted about this. This is about how we trend. We do this every single semester, every single year. This is in line with what we see on these scores. But we do not have any honors level classes.
Okay, what about next semester?
Next semester we will. So we're not surprised to see the 1% climb to 16%, because the way that these ladies teach U.S. history, it is all application based. So we're very pleased with that.
What do you think they're gonna do differently to ensure we meet our goal for
Well,
CCRPI?
They're really, really pushing academic vocabulary. They're asking those why and how questions rather than identification questions. So that's made a big difference. We have focused on deeper skills like cause and effect. We're looking at comparison contrast. But again, we're asking why. So
Do you
I
think
think
they're gonna
that's
do
the
more self-assessment? I think that's the key piece
They
missing
are.
with them.
they are.
For,
And this first group, on their goal is to have more exit tickets. And instead of just asking content knowledge on the exit tickets, they're asking a lot of reflective questions.
Right.
Like what worked for you in this lesson, you know, what made the information stand out to you. So they're using that as well.
Okay, for algebra, we were, proud of how they're growing the kids. So the way that they came in, and of course, only non-support courses have tested. This will, our support classes will be, testing soon, actually today.
Yeah.
And so when we look at this, again, they are moving kids along the way. So we're proud of that. So as a result, as a result of this data discussion, we've already done like the stations. And so we looked at the data to see how the children progressed. And then we taught like across teachers, with myself included, and they did different activities to try and find those weaknesses. And something else that they're gonna do, and actually the support teachers are doing today, this is something you suggested, Avery, like a quick self-assessment, like after they take their test. So what did you do well on? What did you struggle with? Next time, what will you do differently to compare? And lastly, what grade? What grade do you think you made? So then when they get the results back, they can kind of compare. Something else that that we continue to push as well is the conferencing with the students, so that they know where they are. Again, we want them to the right of the spectrum, so really talking to the teachers and reminding them, okay, like, you know, we need to,
We're gonna add that as a non-negotiable for our support classes. They don't have to conference once a week. You know, we just need to give them a form. If y'all, we can use the one y'all created the last
We had
time.
one with,
Yeah, so I
Carly,
think,
didn't
yeah.
we? Yeah.
I think we could tweak that one and use that one, and it's gonna kind of drive our conversation when we meet with them
and we made
tomorrow.
one, Miss Mason and I made one this summer as well, that, you know, can be tweaked as well. And so we talked about, you know, the idea of looping, continuing to loop in the bell ringers and all, so that they don't forget the content. But, we're proud of, that.
For us, yes.
I don't have the prior EOC, EOG yet, like Renee and I were saying, we were kind of prioritizing our EOC
Right.
classes for the first, because we have to individually
I
pull, you know, where the kids were before, like what they made in the conversion. So that takes a little bit of time. So with our geometry, this is how we trended. So like, I'd be interested in seeing like how they came in. So we have developing at 18%, proficient 31%, distinguished at 7%. So we talked about with this particular cumulative, we looked at like where they messed up. And so a lot of it rode on the vocabulary. So going back, so not only can you solve this, you gotta do something else with it, which they had to apply the vocabulary. Or, yes, or, you know, getting area versus perimeter mixed up. Or once you have to do something with this polynomial, now I need you to identify what this, and this is based off of that. So just going back and,
Or
doing
like,
that.
this is not a characteristic of this.
Right.
This is a characteristic.
So going back with the vocabulary and including bell ringers, and also with me creating some questions as well. All right, biology. Like, I was so excited about biology. I will say this, that the biology had worked really hard over the past year and the summer to be able to do some wonderful things. So you see how they came to us developing to distinguish at 34%, so they almost like flipped it. So, you know, we're moving kids, so I'm very proud of them. So some of the things that they put in place, like they have labs in like each of the units. Within the labs, there are like self-assessments built in. You also have a newcomer to the team as well, and she's just completely rocking it as well. So they really look at their data to be able to determine next steps. They really hit hard on the vocabulary because like with the biology, it's so heavy. If you don't know the vocabulary, then you can't really do the context. And something else that they worked hard on, because they know that there are lots of reading passages, charts, graphs, diagrams, being able to interpret. They worked hard at embedding that within their curriculum to be able to support literacy, so that it's just not ebook. Like it's got to be across the board. And we have seen a struggle, like across the board with kids not transferring, like being able to do their skills in math with charts and graphs and diagrams and interpreting to the other concepts. So that's something that they've worked hard on, and I've worked as well with them to be able to provide them with some charts, graphs, diagrams, and interpretations. So we're going to continue to like embed all of those practices, plus implement like making sure new CLA is in there. So it's just not all DOK one like assessments. So I feel like we're off to a very good start.
Yes.
All right. Again, because of how we have to pull the individual data, I don't have the EOG, EOC, but it will be there the next time around. But I can only imagine that it would be very similar to what the biology would be. So, like,
based on the results from the biology, so yeah.
So 72% here, and the reason why I feel good about that is because, like, even like looking at their summatives, like they have really like ramped up the level of rigor from like a lot of level ones. They make sure that they proportionalize to what the EOC has. So they worked on that. They've worked on like including more charts, diagrams, and graphs to be able to interpret. You see more like passages, reading passages, and being able to draw from that. And looking at like claims, evidence, reasoning. And so even when we went into like a classroom the other day through the Elliott walkthroughs that Mr. DeWitt, you remember he mentioned, hey, we're like, look what I included. So I feel good about that. And I feel really good about, and I'm really excited really to see like next year how this group of kids will go into biology, taking all those skills.
But if you think about what they made in biology this past year, you already know this is an improvement by looking at the environmental science. So,
but really, they are making a conscious effort of like just trying, to try different things for kids. And so you see like engaging activities. We were just in the classroom yesterday where, remember, we even asked the student, okay, tell us how what you're doing matches like your target and your success criteria. And that child was able to articulate that. So I was excited
and they
to
could
see
explain what their test was. They done a very good job.
Hello everyone, this is our 30-day update to Goal 2 for our school improvement plan as we tackle student and staff support for the year 2025-26.
All right, so here we have an attendance protocol that we have made at Burke County High School. And if you click here, you'll be able to see it from Dr. Hankerson. And it's to ensure that we have a good process. So we're in the phase of implementing this. And when you see everything is color coded, so for instance, if a student has missed 5 days, 7 days, 11 days, it'll notify everybody involved on how and what we should do. Right here, we had 2 goals as far as discipline is concerned. We had in school and out of school. Those are the 2 areas of discipline that we normally track. Last year we went down from 1970 to 1859, but it's still in the red for out of school suspension. So what we're doing with in school and out of school suspension is Dr. Hankerson has student council involved, and they're doing a lot of different activities and things such as PBIS and a lot of rewards for students to do what they're supposed to do, and reward them for that.
And although not noted here, to start out the year, our ISS and OSS are down, but the two areas that still are the highest are related to attendance because they are related to tardiness. We do, however, have seen a rise in our electronic item possession, basically vapes, and so we're looking for ways to tackle it as well. Now, some key success areas and then other strategic questions.
We are experiencing significant things with the attendance protocol is working very well. We have a clear plan. We started with a clear plan. My granddaddy used to say, how you start is how you finish. And so we'll continue to enhance and implement that plan. And in our 60-day school inclusion thing, we'll have an update about that. And we're seeing a lot of success with the Smart Pass, and what Dr. Hankerson and I spoke about with that is giving students the ownership of their pass and, and keeping time with their attendance and things like that in the hallway. Which early wins can we replicate? Our parent coordinator contacts parents and students all the time regarding attendance and targets, and we have our graduation coach who coordinates parent meetings with parents, so it's growing extremely well.
As we look then at what are some strengths that we can build on to accelerate, again, our continued use of the Parent Square, that rollout has served very prominent for us in the way that we have been able to contact parents, especially as it relates to attendance. Counseling meetings with students that have chronic absenteeism, that has been on the rise, and we're doing a much better job there than we have in the last few years. What are some weaknesses that are hindering our progress and need attendance? But one thing that we've got to be sure that we're doing a much better job of tracking is our teacher attendance. We have been on top of our student attendance, but now we need to make a shift and add our teacher attendance as well, because we know that's very critical to the entire process. What then are some high impact things that we have done immediately? Our Smart Pass, that particular rollout has been good up until this point. It helps us to track lost instructional time. It helps us to track frequent flyers in the hall and things of that nature. So we're looking forward to our continued usage of the Smart Pass system. Then our attendance reporting, we need to ensure that teachers are with fidelity submitting names of those that have the unexcused absences at the various thresholds, so we can be sure that the attendance protocol that we have in place is followed and followed as needed. And that basically brings us to the end of our 30-day update. We look forward to speaking with you again at the 90-day mark. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Maurice Boyd, Assistant Principal here at Burke County High School.
And I'm Shauna Henderson, Media Specialist here at Burke County High School.
Our group is tasked with Goal 3, stakeholder engagement. When it comes to the stakeholder engagement plan, our learning targets, we all learn how to increase parental involvement in parent portal usage. Success criteria. We can communicate with all stakeholders to inform them about the data. We can host Power School information sessions to teach parents how to create and update parent portal accounts. I can meet bi-monthly to assess the data for parents and student portal usage. So how are we going to do those things? We currently, right now, after assessing what we have, we currently have 728 parents that's active on parent portal. We identified the parents that have not accessed parent portal. So what we're going to do with those parents that we identify, we're going to break them up in groups of 20, where we can target those parents and bring them here at Burke County High School to help and assist them with initiating the parent portal accounts. We plan on hosting 2 workshops with the parents. We got one coming up in September and another coming up in early October, but we hope to be finished by October 10th, around that time. We look to increase our parent portal usage. Our main goal is to increase parent portal usage by 5%. And by doing this, within 30 days, we should be able to increase our parent portal usage by bringing these parents in by 5%.
Our strategic priority A, we are going to determine the current parent portal and student portal usage in PowerSchool. In order to do that, our SIS coordinator, Ms. Leary, she has provided data to show the number of current PowerSchool users. She provided this documentation so that we'll know the number of active accounts and those who still need to set up accounts. Based on the data that she pulled, we determined that in 9th grade, there were 14 parents, and so we sent correspondence to them. 10th grade has 6 parents, 11th grade has 5, and 12th grade also has 5. And so we targeted those parents, and we went ahead and sent that correspondence so that we can work on inviting them to our sessions that we are hosting this semester. Our data sources for monitoring this priority is to use PowerSchool portal reports, and we also, as our initiatives, we will be gathering data from our SIS coordinator to show the number of active accounts. We will compare the data from September 15th to October 1st to notice the growth and the trends there. We will increase the number of portal users by 5% from September 15th until October 1st. All right, with strategic priority B, we are going to develop and implement a parent portal plan. Our entire goal is to get parents aware of PowerSchool and all of its features. One goal is to increase the parent portal usage by providing workshops to update parent accounts. We're also hosting those sessions to train the parents. We're posting important information on parent calendars, and we're posting reminders in Parent Square and Facebook. Some data sources for monitoring, we're using our sign-in sheets, we're using parent portal usage statistics, we're using PowerSchool data reports, we're using frequency, we're looking at the frequency of the logins by grade level, and we're also looking at the correlation between the parent portal usage and the student attendance and grades. We want to make sure we make that connection that because we're getting those users to engage, that we do see an increase, a positive increase in student attendance and grades. Some of our initiatives are providing those workshops to update the parent accounts, training parents on the use, purpose, and the functionality. We're going to post all official documents such as our progress reports, our benchmark data, using the parent portal, and we're also going to make sure teachers update grades weekly.
Strategy priorities C, streamline district processes for official documents. What we plan on doing, we got our SIS coordinator. We asked Ms. Leary to pull data from every progress report in report cards so we know how many parents actually signed off. We will reward those students who have the parents that signed off on the progress report in the report card. We don't know if parents are actually signing these documents, so what we plan on doing is adding a signature or a note to them to make sure that they do sign off for us. We don't know if the parents actually reading these documents, but we got a signature will provide to us that they actually did do it. So that's going to be important. We will also use PBIS incentives to motivate the students to return the signed documents, and we think that's going to help. Here with our PBIS program, it's kind of helping a lot with students receiving incentives, so we're going to use that to kind of motivate them to do that. D, this priority is develop and implement a training plan for parents. We have already hosted a session doing open house in doing the academic and curriculum night. We have also, and will continue to assist walk-in parents that walk in and help them. And we will also do virtual one-on-one sessions as needed. We do have 2 scheduled in-person sessions, or we will schedule 2 in-person sessions each semester to kind of help reach this goal. We have some artifacts to show you for September the 15th signage.
Our next steps for stakeholder engagement is to meet bi-monthly with team members to discuss data for parent and student portal users and ensure teachers are updating PowerSchool regularly to provide accurate attendance and progress data to parents.
All right, this is Coach Fulcher. I am with Organizational Effectiveness for our school improvement plan. And what we're going to be doing and what we're looking at here is we're going to work on our procedures and policies for the family reunification plan. All right, as you see, what is showing on the screen right now is the orange sheet of paper, which everybody has in their Go Kits. But have you really looked at what is on this piece of paper? Do you realize that you might be part of the family reunification plan? So here's our data and why my group selected the family reunification plan as our area to improve upon. First of all, we practice fire drills monthly. Okay, so we have roughly 10 of those a year. We will do 2 lockdown drills a year. We will do 2 severe weather drills a year. So, and people are comfortable with those. Matter of fact, the other day when we had an inadvertent lockdown that came over, everybody responded well. Kids did the right thing. Teachers went the right places. Everybody knew what to do. We have never practiced or even walked through the procedures for the family reunification plan. That is going to be our purpose. I know we won't be able to do one with the entire student body, but going forward, I'm probably going to, my group and I, we will break it down into small groups, and we will start like with the counselors and other small, groups, just walking through. If we had to set up, this is what it would look like. Going forward, I want everybody to realize that yes, on that piece of paper, this is what it says we have to do, and this is where we're going. But in a true family reunification plan, dependent upon the situation, is a very fluid situation, and we have to be very adaptive. But the only way to become adaptive is to practice. So that is why. If you have any questions about this or any comments, please come see me or a member of my group, which is Ms. Torick, Ms. Sharon Williams, and Mr. George Lee. Thank y'all.
As Dr. Cherry just mentioned, we, again, using this from a teaming standpoint, and we feel like by breaking this up into various parts, we'll be able to dig deeper, have a deeper dive with the various sections of our plan. In addition to that, we're able to specialize. But what we're looking to do is, as we navigate our first 30 days of the plan, we're going to use that plan and the data that you will see and understand throughout various segments of the plan as the foundation and baseline data that we'll use to push our efforts and academic movements forward towards our 60-day plan. And with that being said, that will be the foundation as to moving the 60-day plan forward.